In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to build your assembly from your puzzle cube parts. You'll notice I have a completed assembly on the screen here, and I can orbit around so I can see all the different views. And I just want to give you an idea of what that looks like. And then we're going to build it from scratch. Going to a new file and select the standard.iam. That's the standard assembly template file. Now the first part you bring in will establish your anchored piece. I always like starting, because this is how I know how to put the puzzle together, I always like starting with my blue piece. So, and I'm using Autodesk Inventor 2013, and this is the puzzle I built this year. So I'm going to drop that in there. Notice it already starts with a piece. Don't click the mouse because it'll create a second piece. Just click the escape key. Now, I don't normally view it from this angle. I normally view my puzzle cube from this angle. So I'm going to put it together the way I know how. Then the next piece I put in is the red piece. So I'm going to drop the red piece in there. Now, it's very likely that when you created these pieces, you didn't create them you didn't model them in the same orientation or with the same axes as they go together. So you need to rotate the pieces. Now, the blue piece, or whatever the first piece you bring in, is anchored, it's grounded. You can't move that piece, but you can click and drag the other piece and move it around, and you can also rotate it. So I happen to know that this piece needs to be rotated on a couple of axes. So the way I like to do it is I like to view the angle that I have to rotate it two-dimensionally, right? So I click rotate, select the piece, and then you get this icon. And in order to visualize what's going on, I only rotate in one axis at a time, and just need to get it close. Okay. Then see, I've got that rotated that way, and then now I need to rotate it. See, around this axis. So I click on that face and select rotate. And orbit around here and select the right face and rotate it that way. And once you're done rotating, you hit the escape key. And now I know the red piece basically goes like this on the blue piece. So how do I make that assembly? Well, it's called a constraint. And I click the constrain button in the ribbon. And over here you'll see there's two types of constraints. And again, like most commands, if you hover over it, it gives you a little clue. There's the mate constraint, and there's the flush constraint. Now mate will join two surfaces sort of together, and mate will make two surfaces flush or at the same level or in the same plane. So first thing I know, I want to mate this surface here, and you notice the little arrow glyph indicates which surface is going to be mated and how, and I want to mate that to this surface. I click apply, and you notice now it's locked in there, and we haven't completely locked it in because I can still grab it and slide it around, right? But I've removed some degrees of freedom. Okay, I still need to remove at least 2 or it looks like 3 degrees of freedom. So I'm going to do another mate constraint. I'm going to select this plane and that plane. Now if I click apply, now I've again restricted its movement along one axis only, and in order to remove that degree of freedom, I can use my flush constraint. Select this surface here, make it flush with that surface there, click OK, and now those two pieces are pretty much locked together. And you can tell they're fully constrained if, when you try and grab the piece and move it around, it does not move at all. So I've got those two pieces locked together, and the next piece I want to bring in here is I think my green piece, which is, let's see, 2013 green piece, and I know how this goes, but again, when I place it, it's probably not going to be, or might not be, you might get lucky, or if you actually did a really good job planning ahead, they might all come in the right orientation. But I know I have to rotate this green piece 90 degrees at least. And don't worry about getting it precise, because the flush and mate constraints will take care of precisely aligning things. Just need to get it roughly in the right orientation. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my constraints. I'm going to mate this surface with this surface. Okay. Then I can go and apply that. Make this surface flush with that surface. And then lastly, apply that. I'll make this surface flush with that surface, and that should lock me in. And again, if I grab that, it shouldn't move. So I can go and continue to do that with my last two pieces. I've got my yellow piece and my pink piece. Bring the, actually I'm going to go with the pink piece first, I think. Drop that in there, and again, it's going to need to be rotated. And this has to get rotated 90 degrees this way. And I can go about applying my constraints. I'm going to mate this with, where is it? There it is, that in there. Apply that, flush this surface with that surface, apply that, and flush this surface with that surface. And now my pink piece is locked in, and one piece left, the yellow one. Drop that in there, rotate it the way it needs to be rotated, which is going to be 90 degrees clockwise in this orientation. Constrain, mate that to that, apply, flush that and that, then apply and flush that and that, and now that should do it. So now my cube is all assembled. I can click on the home view, and that's what it looks like.